Ed Jones, take him to your office right now. Okay? This is literally what happened in the first 8 minutes of my first day in the player development position. Here I am at the University of Houston, walking down the hallway, trying to find my office, and Coach Herman sees me, says, Ed Jones, take him with you to your office right now. Here I am, I'm with a player, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know where my office is. So we're both walking down in a state of like, what's next? Find my office, sit down, and get with a player. But this was my first day. First day, first 8 minutes in the player development role. Hello. My name is Ed Jones II, and I am the host of the Player Development Pod. I am also the founder of Beyond the Field program, where we help you find clarity in player development. So, as you can already tell from the intro, it was a crazy first day on the job. So, after I get it done, after I finish talking to the player and I'm literally like, hey, you don't know me, I don't know you, let's get to know each other. And I found out why this player was in my office. Had a great time to connect and get to the root of some things there. I was walking around and I had to set up a meeting with HR, and I'm walking down the hallway in this suit you see right here. And I see Coach Herman again. Hey, Coach, just want to let you know everything's handled. He says, Ed Jones, why are you wearing a suit? Well, Coach, I thought it was my first day. Ed, take the suit off. Don't wear it again. So in remembrance of that day and taking the suit off, I'm going to go ahead and take this off right now as we continue this episode. I'll keep the jacket on because, it's on. It is what it is. But I want to talk to you about my first day of player development and what I learned that day. Before I get started, I want to talk to you about the sponsor of this podcast. We want to thank, there is no sponsor of this podcast. And if you're interested in sponsoring this podcast and reaching so many people that impact athletes around the world, please reach out. Email's in the link underneath. Let's make it happen. All right, back to my first day on the job. It was incredible. The first 30 minutes, I was like, this is a crash course that I could not have prepared for in any way. Now, there's 3 things I learned in my first day. Number 1, I learned immediately player development is unpredictable. I thought I was going to go to a couple staff meetings, meet with HR, do this, find out where to go, meet different people on the staff. Little did I know my first day was going to be what it was. And I found out that day that player development is unpredictable. I say this all the time. One of the biggest questions I get, and most people in player development get, is what does your day look like? And I think people don't truly understand me when I say you never know. And a lot of my days were dictated by whatever text message I got or whatever email I saw in the morning. That kind of made my day go. And so in this role, you have to be prepared. I talked about it in a question of the week. Someone asked me, or people continue to ask me what skills are needed in the role. And one of them I always tell people is you have to be flexible. So first thing I learned my first day on the job is player development is unpredictable. The second thing I learned on my first day was communication is huge. One of the things I was immediately impressed by was the staff meeting that Coach Herman led. It was a staff meeting where he let us know why we were meeting, what the agenda would be, the objectives of the meeting, and every person that sat on the outside support staff had an opportunity to communicate with the coaching staff on what's going on. So we started off with the injury report, then we started off with academics, then it may be recruiting, and then eventually as time went on, I had opportunity to share with staff. And then we would talk about that so everyone heard what was going on in the program. Oh yeah, forgot about this. Strength staff also had opportunity to share what was going on in the weight room, different things like that. So once again, everybody in the program was able to know what was going on. And it was just I was blown away by it because, I've been places where you find stuff out. I didn't know that, where this may be. And shout out to my head coach, Coach Pedrick McGinnis at Hightower. He did an incredible job of laying that foundation. And so I was just seeing it at another level, at the collegiate level with Coach Herman was elite. And we all communicated. There were text threads afterwards. People made sure that you understood what was being communicated in the meeting. We did not leave the meeting until everyone understood. And that was something I took back. I had like 3 pages of notes from an hour and a half meeting. It was incredible because everyone knew what was being asked of them and they knew what to expect. And I will always respect Coach Herman for that. You always walked in every day. You knew what your role was and you knew what to expect. Now, before I get to the third thing I learned in the role, I want to talk to you. Maybe you listen to this podcast, you're watching this video on YouTube. Thank you for doing that. And you may, not fully understand player development. You want to get in this role. You need someone to guide you into the role, guide you while you're in the role. I want to be that person for you. I want to walk with you and take my experience from 3 universities, working for 5 head coaches, and help you find success in the role and be the hero in the lives of so many athletes as you help them create impact. The third thing I learned on my first day in the player development role at the University of Houston was just understanding how my head coach at the time, Coach Tom Herman, helped me in the role. So me and someone else started that day. That was a Monday. And he brought us up from the team. Hey, this is Coach Ed Jones. He's coming from Hightower High School. I had a few players that I coached that were on the team. Ed Jones is coming from Hightower High School. He's going to be our director of player development. You come to him for this, that. This is how he would help you. And I've had a podcast about some of the biggest challenges in the role, and I talk about support. But for me to get that the first day, I thought it was going to take a little while for me to get to know people. But first day, the head coach is introducing me to the team at our team meeting. It was incredible. So the third thing I learned that day is, I learned that my head coach, Coach Herman, was going to help me in the role. And it happened throughout the role. That year that I worked, one of the greatest things he ever did to tell me was we had this thing, and I was like, Coach, if you could be here or whatever. He stopped me and said, Ed Jones, I'm going to be wherever you need me to be because this is your event, and I want to make sure everything's good for you. I was just blown away by that. And so that's the third thing I learned on my first day, that, hey, shout out to the head coach. He got my back. That was the third thing. Now, in the meeting, here's a bonus story that's kind of like a day 1, day 2 thing. I didn't want to put it on day 1 because it was day 1, day 2. So in the team meeting, I found out one player got kicked off the team, like literally right before I got there. Team rule wasn't met. This player was removed from the team, and we were the first group to find out. It was a very spirited meeting about adhering and listening to the team rules. And so, boom, it was just only the team knew. So-and-so's off the team. We'll address the public later. The next morning, Coach Herman, I hear, Ed Jones. So I come down. Hey, what's up, Coach? Ed, how does this guy find this out? I was like, what do you mean, Coach? One of our fans literally had the guy's name and was like, yeah, so-and-so got kicked off the team. Coach Herman doesn't play. If you don't abide by rules, he'll get you off. And he literally looked at me and said, Ed, I need you to get to the bottom of this. And I was like, man, here we go. So, growing up, I watched Will Smith. So I was like, here we go. Sherlock Homeboy. I was looking for shades, but I didn't have any. And so I go to the DM of this fan and I'm like, hey, thank you so much for being a fan and thank you so much for your support of the Cougs. And I literally come out like, hey, how did you find out so-and-so got kicked off the team? So Coach Herman asked about an hour later, hey, Ed, what's the update? And I'm just like, hey, Coach, I asked the guy how he found out. He had hit me back. He's like, Ed, you can't be that blunt. You can't just ask him. He's not going to give you the information. I was like, you know what, Coach? You right. So this is my second day on the job. And I'm like, how can I find out how he knows and how this guy got this information? So what I did was I went to Twitter and I was like, you know what? We're just going to piece this together. I literally went all the way back, found this guy's name, found out that this guy went to the Peach Bowl in 2016, Peach Bowl, and I found out what area he was in. So I called ticketing, and I can't remember her name. I don't want to say the wrong name. And I'm like, hey, look, I need your help. This guy, basically, he had just tweeted, I just renewed my tickets for whatever it may be. And so I'm like, I need help. I got to find out who this person is. He got some information leaked from the team. Can you help me with this? So we found out based off season ticket holder, his name on the cup and what section he was, because I looked at his picture and I took a picture of the Georgia Dome. I think it was the Georgia Dome. Maybe it was Mercedes-Benz. I can't remember. And I kind of saw the section he was in, and we literally found out who he was. And so I come back an hour and a half later, Coach Herman, I got him. this is his name. Here's his information. Boom, boom, boom. He's like, whoa, like, great job, Ed. So we go to the team meeting that day, and coach says, hey, if information is leaked here, you're gone. If it's a staff member, if it's a player, you're gone. And so he puts up the information I put. He's like, shout out to Ed Jones, who figured this out, who found this out. But this guy, blank, 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 knows that, so-and-so got kicked off the team. So whoever knows blank, blank, blank and gave him this information, if I were you, I would end that relationship right now. And so the first 2 days I had on the job, they were intense. They were intense. That second day, that whole being an investigator deal, that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was intense first 2 days. But that's what I learned in the role. Once again, player development is unpredictable. Communication is huge. And I understood that the head coach had my back in the role. If you have any other questions about my first day, first week, or my time in player development, please let me know in the comments. And after you put those questions you may have in the comments, check out this video right here that talks about the 5 interviews I had at 3 universities. Go out, create generational impact. Don't wait. Create that generational impact today.